The Executive Director and Head of Global Research at Global Info Analytics, Mr. Dankwa, has stated that none of their polls indicate the likelihood of a runoff in the upcoming December 7 general elections. According to him, there are no significant differences between the field polls and the telephone polls regarding overall voting intentions. Mr. Dankwa explained that their polls consistently project results above the required threshold for a one-touch victory in the December 7 elections. He added that a close examination of the polls reveals why they are not predicting a neck and neck race, stating that if 25% of those who voted for President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 election now intend to vote for former President John Dramani Mahama, that represents a substantial shift. However, Mr. Dankwa stated that first-time voters will not play a significant role in the upcoming election. He stressed that the new patriotic party flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, cannot afford to lose 25% of the party's previous voters and expects to bridge the gap with first-time voters as their numbers are not too large enough to make a decisive impact. Let me go on the line and speak to Mr. Dankwa. Mr. Dankwa, thank you so much for your time on 505. Good evening to you. I trust you're doing very well.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right, so 25% of first let's have a conversation on the field polls and the telephone polls. If we talk about field polls and telephone polls, what exactly do we mean before we get into the details?
Right. The field polls are face-to-face interviews that are conducted across various conferences and the region. Those people who have in the past give us their phone number, contact them, do a service we so wish. So we have asked.
Well, Mr. Dankwa, your line is breaking. Can you reposition for me, please?
I think it must be from your side because I'm not in a place where the network will be.
Okay, it's better now, please.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that the telephone polls are people who have given us their phone numbers to speak to them in the future regarding surveys and opinions. And the difference is that we call them over the telephone. So they have more privacy than in the field.
And the field polls, that one, your team gets to the field and interview the people on the field and gets your opinions on that.
Yes.
Is that a nationwide thing or just something?
It's all nationwide. No, it's all nationwide. A sample from at least 111 constituencies, all the 16 regions covered, randomly selected.
You talk about 25% of those who voted for Nanado in the 2020 election tends to vote for John Dramani Mahama. It means that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is going to lose some 25%. What accounts for that?
I mean, they wouldn't give you reason why they are not voting for Bawumia, but they give you reason why, other reasons for you to be able to conclude. They tell that the country is not headed in the right direction. They tell you that their standard of living has gotten worse compared to the last 12 months. They tell you that they don't approve the way Nanado is doing his job. And that the key issues for them in this election is economy, jobs, and education. So having heard this, definitely you can conclude that they are doing so because of the current economic conditions.
Let's look at education. We know that the MPP's flagship program was and still the free SHS. Is that going to have, what are the students saying? Are the students going to vote for the MPP? What are the parents also going to do? Are they all in support of the new patriotic party? What are they talking about the education?
You know, a couple of weeks ago, we did an analysis of the free education and how it's impacting voters. In fact, in the April poll, we extensively covered the free education. And now we are also analyzing the data within the context of those who say education is important to them and their age groups and who they are voting for. When you look at the data currently, those who say education is very important to them or dear to their heart, they are voting for John Mahama than the ruling party's candidate. Now, there's a slight difference between what they are doing. If you look at those between 18 and 24, both at the university level who may have finished the senior high or have finished senior high and couldn't go to universities. Mahama is winning among these groups. But if you look at the parents, people who are around 45 years to 54 years, who are the parents of these kids, they are supporting Dr. Bawumia.
I see. So now, what are the figures looking like?
If you look at the current poll we have done, you see that John Mahama is on 51.1%, down from 53% last time. So it's roughly down about 2% in a week. Bawumia has gone up from 39% to 40.6%, up 1.6%. Bediako has gone from 5.2 to 5.6, up 0.6%. And Alan has gone up from 1.7 to 2%, up 0.3. So at the moment, Mahama is leading 51.1 and Bawumia on 40.6, still way above the threshold required to avoid runoff.
It means that Cheddar, that's Nana Bediako, has appreciated than Alan Chematin, correct?
That's true, yes.
Why that? Because we know that Alan is coming from the New Patriotic Party and might have some supporters of the New Patriotic Party backing him. Why has Cheddar's votes appreciated?
Actually, if you look at the data, Alan's support is not coming from New Patriotic Party per se. Because if you look at those who say they are MPP, Alan gets 1% of MPP voters. Bediako gets 2%. So Bediako gets a lot more of MPP vote than Alan. But both Bediako and Alan do a lot well among floating voters and those who do not disclose their party affiliation. That's where they are drawing their support from.
I see. I know that you're almost done with the latest. Any one votes going to appreciate?
Yes, we expect appreciation in the polls. Next week, Monday, the full details will be out. But it's looking interesting.
I see. Mr. Musa, thank you so much for your time this evening. That's Musa Dankwa, is Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. And Dr. Jonathan Santiotri joins us on the phone, political analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Doc, I'm grateful for your company this evening. So Musa Dankwa says that John Dramani Mahama is still in a comfortable lead, if I should use that. And in the next week, he sees that John Dramani Mahama's vote would appreciate again. Again, there's not going to be a runoff. There's going to be one-touch victory for John Mahama. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm saying good evening to your listeners. I think it is not a call solely by Global Info Analytics. If you avert your mind to the likes of CDD, what's it called? Global Info Analytics itself, Rich Solutions. You can talk of Economic Intelligence Unit and the Afrobarometer. All of these surveys that have come out are in favor of the NDC and that of Mr. Mahama over the period. So, and things too have gotten worse along the line. So I don't see how there's definitely going to be any change.
I see. Well, he talks about education, employment, infrastructure, and the economy. Obviously, the economy, we know that we're in difficult times. Education, the MPP touts as an achievement because of the free SHS policy, but he says that it's not going to change anything as far as the voting pattern is concerned. Why do you think people are still complaining about education, though we have large number of students enrolling to the free SHS policy?
Well, the PSHS has become a political tool, and so it has prevented government from opening its eye to implementational challenges. That's the more reason why they are not seeing the benefit in terms of responses with this particular campaign, with that. And that is the more reason why they are struggling with the campaign. In order of arrangement or importance, people are talking about the economy, followed by joblessness, and then education. So education is third in the pecking order. So you could see that people attach more importance to the economy, to their unemployment status, than to education. Education is third. So they are equally important, but they are, along that line, behind the economy and that of the joblessness.
Finally, before you go, he says that the first-time voters and those who didn't vote in 2020 intends to vote for John Dramani Mahama. Is it because of the same four provisions? That's the education, the infrastructure, and the economy.
Yeah, certainly. The point is that when you look at the economy and first-time voters, most of the first-time voters will be influenced by their parents. And if their parents are struggling and whatever they are going through in their homes, that is what will influence the pattern of the voting. So if Mr. Mahama is ahead among this particular, demography, then obviously it is a testament to exactly what is happening.
I see. Doc, I'm grateful for your company. I know you have equally important things to do as well. Grateful for your company. That's Dr. Jonathan Asantotri, who is a political analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Well, it's week.